What would you do if your in-laws were dead set on making your life a living hell? My mother-in-law and sister-in-law, the world's biggest butts. If there was an award for the most twisted Hellcats, it would be a tough competition between the two of them. If you ask my opinion, I would give it to my mother-in-law because Susan is just a teensy bit less pathetic than her. But to understand this, we would have to start from the very beginning. I'm Blair, and my roots come from a small countryside village, but it all changed when I met Matthew on his ride to the city. Since the first time we laid eyes upon each other, we knew that we wanted this to last. So after just 6 months of dating, we decided to get married. I was the happiest when Matthew asked me to marry him, but the only hindrance between us was his mother and sister. Matt's mother, Arabella, is just a racist woman to her very core. If it were in her hands, she would make her dream world where only people with skin as white as milk could live. No other races would be allowed. Or maybe she would allow someone if only their pockets were full of money. She won't let Matt date me because, well, I don't come from a rich family like theirs. Also, the fact that my skin tone is a lot darker than her, quote, perfect daughter with her perfect porcelain skin, doesn't really help my case much, does it? Susan is Matt's sister, and from the time I've met her, she was my biggest archenemy. She's just a mean girl, gone extreme, and it just seems like she doesn't wear off her queen bee throne even after completing high school. She's the type of person who would bully someone just for the fun of it. Since the day I met Matt's family, both Susan and Matt's mother have been trying to break us apart with their wicked schemes and plots. They've even tried to accuse me of cheating on him. But with Matt's love and support, I've been able to persevere through this. So, when Matt and I got married last summer, none of them was happy. They even tried to sabotage my wedding by ruining it. They tried to go for my wedding dress, but it was saved at the last minute by my best friend Lexi, as she stopped them from intentionally spilling, you guessed it, red wine all over the dress. The past year has been hard with Matt's deployment miles away from the city. I've been forced to live with Matt's mother and sister as they are scared of, quote, what a dirtbag like me would do when my husband is away. My mother-in-law even, she went forward to say that these are just the ways of the countryside people. They fool around with others if they get a chance. Well, they convinced Matt by putting on their sweet, concerned side, telling him that they would not want me to feel alone in his absence and that they would take care of me, but the reality was far from this. The terms concern, empathy, and love were so alien to them. For the past year, all I've had are insults thrown at me. My mother-in-law believes that the only reason I married her son was that I was just a gold digger and her, quote, sweet innocent baby was easily taken away by lies and deception because he only sees the good in people. She called me a leech, even when I was completely financially independent on my own. As soon as I shifted with Matt, I started looking for jobs, and with my fluency in Spanish, I soon enough found a respected job as a professor at a renowned university. But none of this mattered to my mother-in-law. All that mattered to her were the perfect degrees, perfect scores, and the perfect job that her daughter had. Susan worked as a fashion designer for a famous brand, and to make matters even worse, well, Susan would never miss the opportunity to rub it in my face that she makes more money than me, is prettier than me, and, well, also better educated. What about a bigger jerk than me? Yeah, exactly. The only happy times I had in the last years were the 2 weeks when Matt came home from a little holiday. He'd treat me so well, and he would try to spend most of the time with me, but my mother-in-law had a problem with that too. She used to make excuses for Matt to drive her to places, and sometimes to the market or sometimes to a beauty shop, just so he could not give attention to me. And if Matthew refused, she would go on accusing me of stealing her only son. But other than that time Matt would visit, I would mostly be alone, because mother-in-law and sister-in-law would talk to me only when they wanted to insult me. My mother-in-law won't even let Lexi come over to meet me because apparently this house is not for some lowly beggars. It was like she intentionally wanted me to be isolated so that nobody could help me feel better and they could just continue to rule over me. The only time I was able to meet Lexi was when I left the university early. On the other hand, Susan would have parties over with all her friends, which I was not allowed to join. But the best source of entertainment for them was to talk all kinds of craps about me. My life was made a living hell. It was like I was some alien, and my mother even tried to avoid touching me, like she would get dirty if she did. My only sense of relief in all this chaos was the fact that Matthew was coming home the next week for our anniversary. I was too excited to celebrate it with him. He is the only person in this family that keeps me sane. Over the last few weeks, I've been busy with the preparations for the party. From the arrangement of the decorations to the guest invitations, I have been doing it all by myself. My mother would not even let the servants help me. She had warned them that if they did, they would be instantly fired on the spot. I didn't mind. I was too excited to care about her little stupid schemes. But I just hoped she would not try to mess it up this time, because if this time she tried to screw with me, I would do it back. I would not be the girl who could just be walked over any time she wanted. This time, if she treats me like a punching bag, I will hit back. But as always, she never failed to mess things up for me, and just like that, my hopes for her keeping out of my way were shattered. I just got a call with Matt's cousin. I called to confirm if she was coming to the party next week, but it turns out that my anniversary party has been postponed till next month. Well, I was shocked. All this while I've been making preparations for the grand party, and now people simply won't show up. And guess who postponed the party? Yes, you're right, my beloved mother-in-law. And do you know why she did it? Susan asked her to do it because it was her birthday on the same day, so she wanted all the attention to be on her. I think she's scared that if she is not in the spotlight, people might see that she is just as shallow as her mother. I remember Susan throwing tantrums last year about Matt and me getting married on her birthday. Someone should knock some sense into this stupid girl's mind and tell her that a wedding is a bigger deal than a birthday party. And that too when we're supposed to celebrate the birth of someone like Susan. But I could not believe my mother would agree to this. After all, it's her son's first anniversary too. For once, I thought that she would behave like a mother, not for my sake, but for her son's happiness. But no, Arabella just proves me wrong every single time by just stooping to new levels of wickedness. And Arabella? More like Annabella. You know, the freaky doll. She's even more horrible than that creepy doll. This time, she took it a little too far. She messed it up big time, and now I will make her pay for all that she's put me through. I'll show her what a simple, underqualified farm girl can do. I have some ideas of what I should do since she loves my little countryside village so much. I'm thinking of giving her a little ride through it. No, not literally, but in my own sweet way. Well, you guys will see, but for now, I just have to figure out how to make the plan work. What do you guys think? What should I do? Should I let it go like the other times? Or should I teach them a lesson they will remember for a lifetime? Top comments from the original post. Comment number 1. Are you serious? You're just being overdramatic, just exaggerating everything to portray your in-laws as evil. I don't get why people like you do it. Is it to get attention? Have you even thought about how you might be lacking? I'm sure you must not have. No one takes a look at themselves, but everyone tries to blame the other person, and in this case, you're just putting the blame for your incompetence on your mother. You're not the victim here, she is. Your mother-in-law must have had some expectations of the type of daughter-in-law she wanted, and surely you do not fit the criteria. That poor soul must be so disappointed that she lost her son to someone she can't stand. Comment number 2. Girl, you have my full support. I understand what you're going through. My mother-in-law was also very mean to me in the beginning. But then I exposed her double face in front of my husband, and now she keeps out of my way. I think you should teach both of them such a lesson, and they'll think twice before insulting you again. Comment 3. I don't think you should go for revenge. Bullying is not the answer to more bullying, and I don't get what the point of messing up more with the people who messed up with you. This will only make you lower your standards. I know what they did to you is not the way to justify it, but do you want to get dirty in the mud that they're dragging you into? I just think you should stay out of their way and mind your own business. Update number 1. Hey everyone, I'm back. It's been 4 days since I came to know that my mother-in-law postponed my anniversary party so that her, quote, star of a daughter could shine alone in front of all the guests and not have to share her spotlight with me. The people should know how perfect their daughter is, right? More like how mean, after all. It is the princess's birthday. Well, I've got an amazing present planned just for her. But before we get into that, I'd like to reply to what you guys had to say about the incident. Some of you believed I was being, quote, over-dramatic, or that I might have been intentionally painting my in-laws as the villains. But no matter where I come from or what my educational qualifications are, no one has the right to sabotage my marriage or my relationship with my husband. Would you defend bullying too? Somebody intentionally treats something like dirt just because they come from a better background than them, or because they might have a better degree or a better paying job than them. Is that what a victim does? No, that's what a bully does. Clearly, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law are bullies. And if you want to support and defend bullies, then that's your decision to make. But you don't expect me not to stand against them or retaliate. Well, some of you even suggested that I should keep my head down and let them carry out the stunts that they pulled. But what I believe is that respect is basic necessities, and I'm living with someone I should at least be respected in that house, if not loved. If you were forced to live with your little tormentors, would you be okay with just staying out of their way and letting it go? So now I'm getting into what happened next in my oh-so-chaotic life. Firstly, Matt came home earlier than expected, and what's funny is that both Susan and mother-in-law acted so lovingly towards me in front of him. Those hypocritical swine. I was so happy to see Matthew. He was excited to see me too, but when I told him what mother-in-law and sister-in-law have been putting me through, he didn't believe me at first, as I had not told Matt much about how they've been tormenting me for a year. Now it was too much to control, so I broke down in front of him. He fully supported me and wanted to talk to his family about it, but I asked him to let me handle this in my own way. I knew what I was planning was very harsh, so before carrying out my plan, I decided to confront both Susan and my mother-in-law, giving them a last chance at their redemption. I know many of you wanted me to teach them both the lesson, however, I decided to give them one last chance to realize what troubles they've been putting me through since the day I came into this house. But that was my biggest mistake. Such jerks can never be better, and trying to give them a chance was like smashing your head on the wall. So I decided to confront both of them when they were together. I went to them, and when I asked them why they did not tell me that they were postponing my anniversary party plan, my mother-in-law simply replied that they did not think it was important to run this teeny, tiny detail by me. Susan just told me that it's just a party and I could host such parties at any time in the future. Can someone please get the meaning of an anniversary through her thick skull? I reasoned back that if such parties can be held any time, then why doesn't she postpone her birthday party? And can you guess what she replied with me to that? Well, I'm Susan, and you're just you. A miserable nothing, a nobody. And both Susan and my mother-in-law laughed manically at this. If they think that's funny, they should just wait to see what funny actually means. They'll know it when it hits them in the face. This incident was enough for me to go ahead and realize what a fool I've been to try to seek some kind of empathy. Well, from these selfish people who think about only themselves and their stupid money. But not anymore. I've suffered enough and given enough chances to make it right, but I was done. Now, whatever wrath they call upon themselves is their own doing. They've always tried to create misery for me every chance that they get, but now I'll take revenge for it, all in one swift shot. I did not want to go to Susan's party, but how could I not? I have to deliver her life's best present ever. So now my mind's made up, and the best part about it? Matthew was on my side. He told me that he'd support me in every way, even if it meant going against his family. Arabella could say all she wanted, that I'd stolen her son from him, but even Matt, knew that I was right. I don't want to spoil the fun by telling you guys the plan right now. You would have to just wait, like me, for the plan to unfold and for this evil mother-daughter duo to have their fate served to them on a silver platter. Quite ironic. Update number 2. Hey guys, I hope you waited as much for this update as I did to write it. I'm so sorry I could not write this earlier. I was busy. But I promise it was all worth it. Susan's birthday party was an epic event. I would say an event of the year. A birthday she would remember all her life, and it's been a month since her quote amazing party, but I still laugh so hard remembering it. So, Susan's birthday was being treated as a huge festival at the house for everyone except me and Matt. Susan and my mother-in-law were rubbing off on my face every chance that they got that they were the ones who emerged victorious from the whole feud. And they also took this party as a chance to tell me who the boss of the house was. Grand preparations were made to throw Susan the party she deserved, and I gave her exactly what she deserved. In front of about 100 guests, Susan's colleagues, her friends, her boyfriend, my mother-in-law's friends, Matt cousins, and some of their extended family. When everything and all the cameras were in place, I sent Susan her best surprise ever. Susan was so happy, and her mother believed this gesture of kindness was me succumbing to them, but little did they know what was coming their way. And then, just as they thought that they were winning, my master plan arrived on a silver platter, an amazing, delicious-looking chocolate cake. Everyone got into their jolly birthday mood. Even I was cheerful. Obviously, for entirely different reasons, but the smile on everyone's face turned into laughter, and some into disgust when Susan cut the cake. Guess what? As soon as she cut the cake, the room started sinking of cow dung. Well, because the cake was made of cow poop. Exquisitely coated with chocolate syrup, surprising, right? Not so much to me. This was my master stroke. My only shot to put an end to their nasty behavior. Let me put my mind at ease, but how I pulled this off? Well, a day before Susan's birthday, I called Lexi to make the arrangements for the quote special cake. So she got loads of freshly made cow manure from the farm, and with all her quote love and best wishes made the best cake from my darling sister-in-law, and finished it off with a bit of chocolate coating. I insisted Susan let me handle the cake arrangements as a way to apologize for trying to steal her limelight on her birthday. If she or her mother had put their minds on anything other than finding ways to mess up with me, they would have figured out that I was not a fool. Not such a fool after all, to be all friendly towards them after what they put me through. So they did not suspect a thing because they were too busy trying to exert their power on me. And to top it off, the look of Susan and mother-in-law's faces full of disgust and shock was the perfect spotlight for the two of them. The true spotlight they deserved, and well, Susan liked so much attention, and I gave it to her. All the guests were looking at her with their cameras out and grins on their faces. She was the talk of the evening, the shining star. And wait, the best part of the evening was still left with a cousin of Matt who was standing near the table. Accidentally tripped and fell with his hand smashing the silver platter and the poop cake and landing straight on my absolute favorite person in the room. My mother-in-law. The chaotic mess on her clothes was just the cherry on top that I did not plan for. And the fact that some got on her face, the evening could not be any better. I mean, I was aiming for it to land on Susan, but this was way better. My mother-in-law was asking for help from her perfect daughter to help clean the poop that was all over her body. And guess what? Her daughter refused to touch her. She was running around the room trying to avoid touching her mother, who was insisting on her help. Karma really is, well, you know. And are you guys curious about what happened next? I'll tell you all in the next update, as I'm running late for a class right now. I'll definitely update soon. Till then, you guys can tell me if I did the right thing or went too far over the top. But let me assure you, watching them on the insulted side of the line was too satisfying. Even Matt was trying to control his laughter. Wow, in front of his family. It was all worth it, right? Comments from that update. Comment number 1. Are you serious? I can't believe you did that. This was so cool. Such pieces of crap only deserve crap on them. I'm so stunned by your guts to carry this out, and I have huge respect for your husband for supporting you even against his own family. I hope they don't create a further mess for you, and please write soon. I'm waiting to know what happens next. Comment 2. This is downright disgusting, like to present someone with a dung cake on their birthday. Come on, that's kind of harsh. Like it was her birthday. Don't you think, I'm not defending them, but I just believe that you could have tried a less harsh way to get your revenge, as this was absolutely disgusting, and I want to know, were they quiet? Were they quiet after this, or did this event enrage them even more? Update number 3. As promised, I did not make you wait for long. I'm back with yet another update a week after my last one. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting me and giving back what they deserve to the witches in my life. I just needed some support from someone other than Matt and Lexi, which is why I started writing here in the first place. And you guys have been the best. As for the ones saying I overdid it or I should not have stooped to their level, well, I think that they got what they deserved. They themselves dug straight into cow poop when they insulted me over a year ago. Every person has limits into their patience, right? And anyways, how does that law by Newton go? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, or something like that. They got the reaction that they deserved. And now I'm coming back to where I left off in the last update, and the party was an absolute hit, with every eye on Susan and her dear mother covered halfway in cow poop. Arabella ran hauntingly behind her daughter to get cleaned up, with her daughter shrieking in front of her. The videos of Susan cutting the poop cake and their reactions went viral. Amongst other people that knew them, it even became famous in Susan's workplace. But the best part of the whole video was the slingshot that landed right on my mother-in-law's clothing. They were the talk of our whole social group for weeks. Susan even stopped going to her workplace for about 2 weeks, and all she did was sulk in her room for days straight, and she did not even go out of the house, and has no friends over, and talked to no one. All the time she just whined about the fact that her whole life was over, and she would never step out of the house again. She summoned the courage to get out of the house to get her nails done, but then found out that even the lady who did her nails was not oblivious to her famous birthday party. So, since then, she's not even tried to go out of the house and do something. Eventually, she did get out after about 3 weeks of sulking in the house, but it was too late, as because of her prolonged absence from the workplace, she lost her, quote, high-paying job. After she was left with nowhere to go, she went to her boyfriend, who had just broken up with her because it was too embarrassing for him to date someone like her. That made me a bit sad, to be honest, because they truly deserved each other. It was the best pair of bullies put together. Anyways, he was only dating her for the social status, which was now completely ruined. She also did not love him. She dated him just because she wanted to brag about a tall, dark, handsome man in front of her friends. Don't you guys feel that they were perfect for each other? Now, maybe she would feel we are equals. She had no job that was, quote, better than me, and her social status was absolutely shredded to pieces. Well, it won't be wrong to say I might be better off than her, with a decent job and a loving husband as well. You guys must be wondering what happened to the Arabella of my life. Well, let me come to her. She stopped going to these high-status parties that she loved oh so much, and all the boasting to people about everything she owned and the things that she could get done in a snap was gone. She did not stay confined within the four walls of the house like her daughter, but surely her visits outside got less frequent and less frequent. But whenever she went out, she would try to avoid anyone familiar that she might run into. Lately, she's been trying to devise a new plan that might portray that she is not much affected by the incident. She tries to laugh off the comments about her chocolate bath, but it could not be clearer how insulted she felt by the look of embarrassment upon her face. And there I was, peaceful, happy, in the midst of all this chaos going on with them and their lives going south. None of them had talked to me since the evening. They only shot me dirty looks whenever I was around, but I'm more than all right with them not talking to me. I'm actually happier than I've ever been since the day Matt and I got married. Well, Matt helped me shift out of my mother-in-law's house 2 days after Susan's birthday. We got an amazing apartment on the other side of the city where they would not be able to reach me easily and trouble me even if they wanted to. I don't think after the party they would want to mess with me because now they know if they step 1 foot out of line, I will not hesitate to show them their place. And to add to the happiness, we're expecting our first child. We had a little belated dinner party last week for our anniversary and also to celebrate the big news. With just some close friends, obviously, we invited neither Susan nor my mother-in-law. I did not get the grand anniversary party I was planning for, yet I was content. Some of you might call me evil for this, but gifting Susan a cake she would remember for life was more fun than any grand anniversary party could have ever been. Alright, let's talk about this one, guys. The comment section for this one, it was split about 50-50. Half of the commenters were saying, this is ridiculous. How are you going to make a whole cake out of poop and then spread it amongst everyone? First of all, people could have got really sick. A lot of things could have gone bad, and it was just a revenge that was way, 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 way too far. But then there was other people who were saying, no, it was perfectly fine, and I actually agree it was a great revenge. So, knowing this, and knowing everything that OP went through, let me know in your exact opinion downstairs in the comment section. Do you think this revenge of the cake was, well, too far? Let me know. My name's Mr. Reddito. I narrate stories every day. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'll catch you in the next one. Smash that subscribe button. And remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya!